Hello, everyone. Welcome to this live session, An Hour of AI, conducted by Coding and More. My name is Tanvi, and I am an educator here at Coding and More. Every month, we meet to learn and discuss new things that are happening around the world of AI. And today also, we will be learning how to train and code an AI model. We will learn how AI can control a virtual self-driving car. Okay? Now, before we begin, I will be using a few platforms to train the model and code the model. I will put those links in the chat. Also, if you have any questions, just feel free to put them in the chat and we will look at them during or after the session. Since we are a smaller group, if you all wish to follow along, please do so. But after I demo the project, whatever we need to look at, if you need some assistance, then we can do that. Okay. So I'm going to start sharing my screen now. Just give me a second. Yes, Aman, are you raising your hand? You're on mute.
Miss, can I have water?
Yes, of course. Absolutely. Okay. Okay, so when we talk about training an AI model, it is very similar to having an AI actually understand what it needs to learn to predict. Okay, so even with this AI model, for self-driving cars, it needs to learn to know what its environment looks like. When it is on the road, what does it need to look at? It needs to know the different things that are on the road. So whether it is traffic lights, whether it is animals, whether it is people, it is road signs. Yes, so today also when we talk about training our model, we train AI models with data. Okay, and data comes in many forms actually. You can train your model to understand sentences or words, sounds, images, videos. But for today's project, because a self-driving car has the ability to see, it can look and understand its surroundings, right? So therefore, we will be training our model with images. Now, once again, I'm putting this in the chat. So if anybody wants to also open at the same time and try and follow along, just make sure that when you are accessing the website, Teachable Machine will ask you to allow permissions for the webcam. Please allow it to do so. Also, while you are training on Teachable Machine, make sure to keep your video off. Currently, because you are on a Zoom call, your video might be on. So if you are, just switch it off so that it doesn't interfere with the webcam on the same platform. Okay. So I'm going to put my video off for a little while and then continue. Okay. So once we're here, we're going to click on Get Started. And because, like I mentioned, that you can train your model using many points of data. As you can see here on the screen, you can also use audio as well as some other options. But for today's project, we are going to be using images. Yes, we'll be using a standard image model. Now, when we train an AI model, it is important to clearly label or clearly make it understand what you want it to learn. Therefore, you have something here which is called classes, or you can also call it labels. Okay, so today we're going to, because I am training it to as if it is a virtual self-driving car. So I'm going to use three things to train my model. One is the traffic light, a green traffic light to indicate that the car needs to move ahead or go. One is the orange traffic light, which means that the model has to wait. And then I'm also training it with myself, a person. So if it sees a person on the road, it needs to honk and it needs to stop, slow down, right? You could also do it with maybe images of a dog. You could download images, you can draw an image of a dog, right? Okay, so when you're renaming it, you will click on the little pencil tool on the side. I will say green light because that is what I'm training it with. And what does it indicate? Green light means that the model has to go ahead. Orange light, which means it has to wait. and I will add another class. You have an option at the bottom to add how many ever classes you like. So like I said, when you all do try to attempt it on your own, feel free to add anything else you also think the self-driving car might need to know to understand its environment. Okay? Okay, and the last one is a person, me. Okay, so I already have enabled webcam settings on my platform, but if you all are doing it, you will get, like I said, an option to allow access. Please feel free to do so. This is a friendly website and you can allow it to access your camera. Now, as you can see, I will once put on my webcam and show you what I have got in my hand, okay? Okay, so if you can see here, I have simply just drawn on a piece of paper. So I have used green for the green light traffic. I've just cut it out into a circle and I've used orange for the orange light. Okay. You can do the same. You can color and cut it out into a circle, or you can show it even green and orange colored objects, green and orange colored things. Okay. Because we are indicating that this is a traffic light, I have cut it out into a round shape like this. Once again, you can also use colored paper. That's another option. You can just cut circles out of a colored paper and just use that. Okay, now when we are training, it's important that the model understands how this looks from all different angles. Now, unfortunately, I haven't colored the backside, so I wouldn't flip it around today. But if you do and you have an entire green circle, you can show it all different sides and angles. And that is how you should do it. Okay. For any image, it's only not for this. When you're training a model, it needs to look at all angles, all variations, and all different styles to be able to understand that this can also be a green light. Okay, now I'm starting to add my images. Now, because one of my options is a person, I'm not going to add that. So I'm just going to use the green circle. When you click on the hold to record button, a lot of images will come out at one time, which is fine. Keep continuing to do so. You can change the angle. You can go back a bit. You can go front. I'm going to train it with 100 images. Approximately 100. Okay. And now I'm going to switch to the orange light. Same thing. Click on the webcam button. Hold to record. And once it's in clear view, you can continue. Yes, you see how I'm moving it around a little bit so that it gets it from all angles. What is also important while you are training is that you don't put very few examples in one class or in one label. They have to be more or less equal. Putting maybe just 10 examples of the green light and 100 examples of the orange light would definitely affect the way your model learns from the training. Okay, because it would, of course, then learn more of what an orange light looks like, and it's more likely to get the prediction of a green light wrong. So that is something we always have to remember, whether it is with images, whether it is with sounds, any sort of data. Okay, we have to try and give equal number of examples. Okay, the last one is myself. So I will just turn the webcam on. And like I said, yes, a few different angles because it needs to look and understand from all angles. You all can also do more of side view, a little bit up, a little bit down, all angles. Similar to probably how you all might have seen the training happening on the cell phones, okay, for the facial unlock, where it asks you to look at all of the angles. Okay, we're going to train our model now. So you need to click on the train now button. You see it's preparing the data now to learn. So it's taking all of the images. So we'll wait a few seconds. Perfect. Now, as you can see, it gives me the option to check the accuracy of the model, which means how well has the model learned what it has been taught. Okay. So, for example, we can show it the green light. Let's see what happens. Yes. Quite good, I would say. Depends on where you're training it from. You see, I never trained it from so far back. So you see the accuracy going lower and lower. As I bring it very much closer to how I had trained the model, the accuracy gets better. Okay. And even with cars, of course, the closer they get to the green light, then they need to know that they can continue to move on. Okay. Same thing for the orange. Let's move back, 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 back. You'll see the accuracy changing quite a lot. And then we'll bring it in front, and you can see that it's learned quite well. And of course, yes, so that's good. Okay, now, like I said, because if your webcam is on Teachable Machine, when we move into coding the model, it might not turn on the webcam on that platform. So always remember to switch off the platform, switch off rather here the camera input in Teachable Machine, because currently your webcam is being used on this platform. Okay, now we need to take this model. This is a trained AI model. We used data, we made classes, we labeled those classes, we put in the images as training data, we've trained our model, and now we take this trained model and we're going to put it into a platform where we can code it. Okay, so we'll click on Export Model. You have some options here. We are going to use Upload My Model. Okay, so it's going to copy and give us a shareable link for our trained model that we can then use on our coding platform. Copy. Okay. Now, this is the next platform that we are using to code. Once again, I'm going to put it into the chat. Okay. Now, because now I will turn on my video later on, okay, for the same reason.
Miss, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Miss, should I start?
Would you like to follow along, or would you like to maybe do it later when you see the live? You can see this again on YouTube, and then you can follow along at that time as well, if you haven't started yet.
I have not, but I know how to do it and I already have the link.
Okay, sure. Then why don't you start?
But But I still have to color and cut my
Yes, you
circle.
still have to color and cut it. Would you like to try with any green or orange objects if you have around you? Do you have an eraser or some object around you that
is white?
White. Yes, probably would be white. Maybe you can try it a little later then, when you have time to color out the circles.
I'm already coloring, Miss.
Okay, super. Then why don't you do that? I will continue with the demo here, and then I can help you if you are stuck with your project. Okay?
Miss, I've used Teachable Machine before.
Oh, lovely. Then I think you should be able to train your model quite well. So why don't you start then? And then I will leave the code open on my screen, and we can maybe do the coding together. Okay?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so because this is the project to code a virtual self-driving car, I'm going to use the sprite of a car. So I'm going to choose the sprite. Let's see, let's get a car. Okay. Okay. And once again, because we said that it's driving on a road. Yes.
Is this red?
Is this red? I cannot see. Maybe you'll have to turn on your camera to show me. I can't see just yet.
The biggest token.
Can you hold? Oh, yes. Lovely. So are you doing a red, green, and orange then? Or are you using yourself as the red light? No, like I did.
I'm using myself as me and then these circles for the lights.
Okay, all right. Okay, perfect. Okay, I've shut off my video because I will be needing it now, because it will be used on that platform. Okay. So now that I have added the background, did you see I added the background as if the car is driving on a road, and I added the sprite of a car, okay? Because that's what we're trying to do, right? We are coding a virtual self-driving car. Okay, now you have the option here to add extensions. And if you remember, the platform we used to train our model was Teachable Machine. So I'm going to add that here. Now you see an option to use the model, which means this is the trained AI model that we trained right now on teachable machine, we're going to use it here for coding. So because I had already copied it, either you can right click and click on paste, or you can say Control V or Command V, depending on what computer you have. Okay. Oh, I forgot to copy it. Hold on, I will copy it again. Okay. As you can see, I've pasted this link here. And now, what do you do when you start a code? You click on the green flag, you use the model. Okay. Now, to activate the model, which means that to make sure that the teachable machine training is used here, you click on the green flag a few times. And you'll see on my screen, there was an exclamation mark here, an orange exclamation mark. It has now turned into I think I lost my connection, so I went back to, okay. Yes, now you see that this exclamation has turned into a green tick, okay, which means I'm ready now to start coding as well. So who is following along till here? Is anybody following along? I know somebody was. Is anybody else following along? Okay, all right. Okay, we will start now. Okay, so now that I've done this, what we're going to do is we are going to get the car here.
Miss Tanvi, I think some people are following along. They've put their questions in the chat, so I'm helping them in the
Oh,
chat. So don't
perfect.
worry.
Okay, okay, perfect. Great. Okay, so I'm going to change this go X to X and Y because these are the coordinates of the car. Okay, these are the coordinates of the car. And we're going to do it as if it's starting in the beginning of the screen. And I think if we move our car here, you'll be able to see those coordinates. That is, I think, or we can even leave it here in the middle somewhere. Yeah, so we can do maybe 151 and say 120. Yes. We're going to put the point in direction so that it points towards the 90-degree angle. And now, like self-driving cars, because they keep going on the same way, right? When a car is moving, they should be able to, in motion, recognize the different, whether it is a red light, a green light. So I'm going to put all of this code into a forever block. So the whole thing repeats and keeps happening when I click on the green flag. Okay, now I'm going to set the rotation style so that it starts moving when it recognizes. Okay, so I'll set the rotation style to left and right. And I'll say that if it goes on the edge, it can bounce. Okay. Once again, like I said, we will need to put this. So now we need to tell our model that if it sees something as the red light or the green light, then it recognizes the prediction and reacts a certain way. So that's the code I'm going to put in now. So if it recognizes this prediction, we're going to tell our car to move really quickly because it has to zoom past the green light, right? It doesn't have to slow down. So that's why I'm going to say that it needs to move faster, maybe 20 steps ahead. And just to add some effects, okay, I'm going to add a sound. Now, there are 3 sounds that we can add to this project. So the first is that the car is continuously moving. One, when it slows down a little bit. And maybe when it sees the person, that is when it sees me, it should honk. It should slow down and it should stop and it should honk, right? So we're going to put in all of these sounds as well. So you go to the sounds tab and we're going to add the sounds. Okay, so let's add this now. So when the green light goes, we're going to say that the car is passing by. So that's the sound I'm going to add. And now I will just duplicate this code for the other labels that I have, okay? I'm changing the prediction, of course, because for each of the labels, the prediction will change. Okay, so I think we're done now. I'm just going to test this out, okay? So let's see what happens. On the green flag. Because it recognizes me, it's continuously honking. So you see, it's slowing down with the orange, and this is my green one. It's going even faster because it's passing by really quickly when it sees the green light. It slows down a little bit and goes a little slower at the orange light. It's waiting, it's slowing down. And of course, when it recognizes me, it's done. Okay. So this is the same way in which we could actually train this virtual car. This is the same concept how even self-driving cars are trained. Okay, they're trained on various things, on things that belong on the road, so that they know when to stop, when they have to honk, how they have to behave around the environment. Okay, now any questions right now? If anybody is following along, now we can take questions. Okay, hold on, I'll put on my video. Okay, so somebody is saying I'm unable to do the activity. Okay, so who was doing it earlier? Okay, let me see. Jine, are you still trying to do the activity? Do you need any help?
No, miss, I'm doing it.
You're doing it now. So have you trained your model or are you still training it?
Miss, I have trained it. Miss, I have trained it, now I'm following.
Now you're following. Okay, so I will leave my screen open with the code. Okay. Who else? Fatima, you said I didn't understand how you put the prediction. Okay, so you need to go into the teachable machine blocks here, Fatima. In your code, you need to go into the teachable machine blocks. Just give me a second. I will annotate on my screen. Okay, here. Okay, 1 second. I will just annotate on my screen. I will go here into teachable machine. Okay, and here you will find the prediction block. This prediction block will go into your if block. Fatima, have you got it now or do you need some more help? For anyone who is doing it and they would like to share their screen and show us, please feel free to do that. I will stop sharing my screen or I can enable the multiple screen share so you all can also share while my screen is still on. Just let me know. Okay, any other questions so far, children?
Miss Tanvi, I think Fatima has a question in the chat.
In the chat, okay. Yes, where is teachable machine? Okay, Fatima, I will just give you the link again. Just a minute. Yes. Fatima, if you click on the link, you will be able to access Teachable Machine. If you wish to share your screen, I can show you as well. In the meanwhile, if anybody else has any questions regarding the project, okay, perfect, Fatima, great. Or about how these AI models are trained, how they work, and how you would make it code, please feel free to ask, okay? Is anybody doing it and they would like to share their screen? Please feel free to do that. Or if you have any questions. I think who was doing it earlier? Did you finish? Aman, were you coloring it and doing it, or was it Jinay? I think Jinay, it was you, right? You were doing it, and were you able to train your model?
Sorry, miss.
Are you also doing the project, Jinay? Were you able to train your model?
Yes, miss. I had some difficulties at the starting, but now I'm catching up.
Okay, perfect. So you're doing the project right now, right?
Yes, miss.
Okay, all right. Miss Ridhima, since they are doing the project, we should continue for some more time, and then maybe we can still keep it on.
Yes, maybe we can just hang around for a few minutes more in case anyone needs help. But
Absolutely, yes.
so, children, if anybody needs to leave, you can leave. We will be sharing the recording for you to follow along at home as well. But in case you're currently working on the project, you'd like to finish it, or you have any questions, then we'll be here for another 5 minutes for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Miss Tanvi, maybe I can stop the recording now.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Maybe we can do that.
Perfect. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Just for the sake
Thank
of the
you.
recording.
Thank you, everyone.
And thank you, Miss Tanvi, for that beautiful session. I love learning along with you as well.
Thank you so much.